After months of waiting, today MPs and Canadians saw the video made by Michael Zayhoff-Bibeau just moments before he killed Corporal Nathan Cirillo, then stormed Parliament Hill. We just heard from some MPs about how that video factors into the government's controversial anti-terror legislation. Does the bill go too far, though? Could wide-reaching information sharing and expanded powers for CSIS infringe on Canadians' right to privacy? Joining me now is Daniel Terrien, the Federal Privacy Commissioner. Good to see you.
Hello.
Appreciate you being here. You have said that you believe that Canadians will be caught in a web of the government's new anti-terror bill, C-51. What concerns you most about the legislation? Describe to me what you mean by that.
Well, my concerns have to do with the information sharing aspect of the bill. That is, the provisions that would permit greater information sharing between federal departments. Now, there's nothing wrong with that objective. With greater information sharing, there could well be the identification of new security threats, terrorists. My concerns have to do with the standards that are used to permit this information sharing, which I think are way too permissive, and it is these standards which would allow a lot of information about ordinary law-abiding Canadians being sent to national security agencies, not because these Canadians are committing any wrongful act, but in order to find among that information what will identify security threats.
So the bill, just so people know, it would allow 17 federal agencies or departments to share information and for CSIS to go in and get that information from them. What do you think is the department or the bit of personal information that is at most at risk of being abused?
I can't really say because there's so much information. Basically, all interactions of Canadian citizens with any department of the federal government will now be shared or may be shared with the 17 departments that will have a national security role. It may be tax information, it may be information about places you travel to, it may be anything.
So what would fix it? What would allow us more protection and allow the intelligence agency to go in and gather information if they have suspected terrorists in mind?
We're making a few recommendations to the committee. The first is to address the standard issue, that is, we would increase the rules whereby information would be shared from what is relevant to what is necessary for a national security investigation.
What would that change? What would that bar change from relevant to necessary?
I think the amount of information that would be shared with national security services would be much fewer, sufficient for them to identify security threats, but it would not then open the gates to all information about all Canadians being sent to national security agencies. I think that's unhealthy, and to raise the bar from relevance to necessity would still give national security agencies a lot of information, but not information that is not necessary.
So that's one of the recommendations. Another one would be what?
Another one would be that information sharing should be the subject of written agreements. There is no such requirement in the bill. I think that it would be good if this was confirmed in agreements and if we were consulted, if my office was consulted on the content of these agreements.
The agreements between departments?
Between departments on allowing some to share information with others. If we were consulted on the content, I think this would have a good role in terms of prevention of privacy abuses. Another recommendation, of course, has to do with review, which has been the subject of much comment. So 14 of the 17 departments that will receive information are not the subject of dedicated review, contrary to CSIS, the RCMP, and the communications establishment. So that is a big flaw in my mind. There's also no judicial review in the information sharing context. The government has given a lot of weight in defending other provisions of C-51, particularly the CSIS disruption mandate, saying that, don't worry, the courts will look after this. For information sharing, there is no judicial review.
Do you think the courts have a role to play in that, then?
The role that we would like the courts to play would be to, for instance, if I do a review and find that the information collection practices of a certain agency is inappropriate or unlawful, the only thing I can do is to make a recommendation to change it. Government doesn't have to follow it. I would like the court to be able to actually direct the government department to act lawfully.
What do you say, though, to people who say, listen, I am willing to give up some of my rights, some of my protections of privacy, I'm sure you hear this a lot, in order to protect my freedom and protect my security? What do you say to those people?
I think, again, some level of increased information sharing is appropriate. Here we have potentially all information about all Canadians being shared. I think that's excessive. I think there could be mistakes made in the analysis of this information by security agencies in good faith, or, as some people have said, through excessive enthusiasm in trying to find security threats. So errors are possible, and more review, higher standards would, I think, make sure that information sharing could occur, but human rights, privacy rights would be respected.
Okay, Commissioner, we'll see if the government listens, if it takes under these recommendations or considers them for amendments. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.